Okay, well, first of all, welcome back, everyone. It's been quite a while since I've made any content. I was actually doom scrolling through Facebook one night before I went to bed, just laying there, and saw Alex Trelli pop up. I do follow him just for regular poker stuff, and saw him post about this Phenom, and I essentially just went down a rabbit hole. Did a bunch of research, looked into it. The team was, I actually reached out to Alec, and the team was unbelievably open and welcoming. Jumped on a call, asked some questions, did a big write-up for Wolves for Phenom Poker, and have been pretty much obsessed with this project ever since. I've been playing as much as I can. I'm quite busy at the moment, but I'm trying to grind as many of these tokens while the price caps are on. And set myself up for the next sort of 6 or 7 months playing quite a bit of Web3 poker. So for anyone who doesn't know, the project is a Web3 poker client. If you think something like PokerStars or GG or Party Poker, with some really, really cool Web3 features that they've added in with ownership and part ownership of the site and revenue share itself. So we'll get into it in the video. Good to be back. Looking forward to jumping in and streaming and playing some cards with everyone online again. Hopefully we'll find some other Web3 games as well, look at some charts, and hopefully all enjoy the biggest bull run of our lives. All right, let's get started. Let's have a look at all the cool stuff that Phenom Poker is doing. So as a project overview, I guess the most important thing, or I guess the thing that attracted me most to this project is being able to use the Phenom token as rakeback for players, and then that Phenom token would then earn you a percentage of the site's revenue. So essentially you get a stake in the site for life, and you get passive earnings, or you can sell the token as well. Really, really cool thing, and I guess this is probably the main difference between when you look at some Web2 poker sites and then you look at something like Phenom, where they're really using that Web3 technology and ownership and part revenue share amongst the players and the team in a really, really cool way that just really sets itself apart from everything else that we've seen in the past. And the actual rake itself is actually pretty decent if you start seeing or having a look at some of the Web2 sites and seeing how much they're actually charging these days. I went on some sites and some Reddits and had a look, and there's people being a bit upset about how much rake PokerStars is taking. And if you took some of that rake that you're paying as a rake back, and then that got you a percentage of everybody's rake in the site, it just makes so much sense, and such a really, really good way to utilize blockchain and Web3. So the design highlights here, again, is just allow players to own part of Phenom itself through rake back rewards. Always a player's first mindset with a mutual vested interest in the success of the site. So as a player, you want the site to do well, because the better the site does, the more your tokens are going to earn you in that passive amount, or they'll be worth more money because the price of the token is essentially tied to the revenue of the site and the amount of rake back and traffic that it gets. So everyone's, everything that everyone is working towards, everyone's goals are aligned here. As a player, you want to see more players come in because it creates more rake back. The site wants you to bring more players in because they also make money from that as well. Fair, secure, transparent gameplay. Again, one of the most important things in a poker site online. Anti-bot, RTA, and collusion algorithms, awesome to see. Really generous player incentives. They've got cash at the start, MTTs and sit and goes coming soon, and it does work on mobile and desktop. And the Web3 highlights transparent gas-free transactions on chain when you sit down and when you leave tables is really, really awesome. I didn't put this in there, but your custodial wallet as well gets set up for you at the start, which is also really good to be onboarding those Web2 people coming across and trying something out in Web3, especially poker players. Voting rights for players and Phenom holders. So essentially the only real way to get any of these tokens is either to refer people onto the site or play yourself and get rake back. So voting rights for both of those. Built on Polygon, which I love, probably one of my favorite projects, or I guess Web3 sites and communities, and someone that's building something would be Immutable X, and also build on Polygon. I'm so used to using Polygon through MetaMask. Just makes a lot of sense and a lot of ease, to be honest. From anyone who's been around a bit in Web3, Polygon's always super rock solid. And tokenize rewards for players with well thought out economy designs. Again, we'll get into that later on in a video where we deep dive into the token itself. But for now, just know that they're good. One thing the team has done really well here is the layout of these tables and just how they look in general. Like they're quite aesthetically pleasing to look at. The purples run that same theme throughout, the entire brand. It looks like a top tier table when you sit down off one of the top 3 poker sites that you would see in Web 2. Really nice, got everything that you would want. The buttons, when it gets around to us, you'll be able to see them, but they really pop out. There's 3 distinct nice colors there for them as well. You got a nice bet slider, which is all custom. You can change your percentage of pot. You can change your amount of big blinds down here. Really done a really nice job. This feels like I'm playing, on PokerStars or an equivalent. Got the hand history up in the top left-hand corner. You can sit out next hand, chat in the bottom. You've got the ability here to be able to put notes on players as well, like you would normally see, and tags and things like that. The one thing it doesn't have just yet is the ability to multi-table easily with automatic tiling. I'm assuming that this is going to come once the volume and the amount of tables open does start increasing through the site. And hopefully they'll also pair that up with a standalone. But at the moment, running through web browser, having absolutely no problems at all. A little bit of problems on mobile to start with the bet slider sort of auto popping up. But most of the time playing on desktop, and has run really, really smooth. I won't spend a huge amount of time on this slide, mostly for the Web3 people who may not recognize these names as household names, but for anybody who has been a fan of poker or played poker over the last couple of decades would instantly recognize, these 3 people, plus the majority of the rest of the ambassadors, the rest of the affiliates, the rest of the core team, the rest of anybody else involved with Phenom Poker who they have on their website on a massive roster. I just picked out 3 to fit on a slide because they instantly stood out for me. I do follow Alec on a lot of other socials as well, mostly for his poker stuff, but I think probably paid a bit more attention once I heard him start, going down the rabbit hole of crypto and Bitcoin. Not too sure how long he's been there for, but definitely very pro crypto. And it's great to see such a stacked team from, the poker world. Also have a massive interest in Web3 and crypto, which makes, the 2 things really come together. And that's essentially what Phenom Poker is finding that Web2 version of something that works well, and then adding some, cool technology there from Web3 and blockchain to make it even better. So really looking forward to what the team's going to do. Let's keep moving. So at a very top level look, Phenom are giving rake back rewards for players back in the form of a token. And that token will represent equity in the company, which would then have a revenue share for the future, or could be cashed in to skip that ROI from the revenue share at a predetermined amount each week, which is an absolute game changer for anyone who plays online poker. So we've had a look at what they're trying to do overall with the token, and let's jump in now and have a look at some pros and cons and dig a little bit deeper without going too far in this video. So there's going to be less volatility on the token, and that's because the price is based purely on the product's success and its performance. So we'll dive deeper into this in later videos when we look at the tokenomics just by itself, and that will probably be a 3 or 4 part series because it is quite complex. But essentially the price of the token each week is going to be based on how much rake that Phenom has taken in through games and tournaments over a period prior. So the more players, the more rake, the more games that run, the higher that this token price will go. Being early is a huge bonus because there's price caps for the first 12 weeks. Again, look into that further later on. Gas-free transactions, single sign-on, which is great because if you play across multiple devices, I know on my phone I don't have the same MetaMask as I do on my computer because I just don't have that same seed phrase across multiple devices. Robust business model that's been proven over time. Now we've seen how well every poker site's done since the early 2000s. There's no reason to believe that this won't continue to happen, if not better with Web3. All the wallets that hold Phenom will receive token allocations. This will be for a later video again, but essentially every token that's being minted will receive an allocation from the rake, even from day one, which is really bolstering up their treasury. And the only way to get tokens, or at least now, is by participation. Now, whether that's playing yourself and getting rake back, whether it's referrals, there's no way to actually buy the token from a centralized exchange or a DEX. You either had to be in on the pre-sale, part of the team, or get that through playing and a rake back. All right, so now I guess we have a look at the cons. So now for the cons. No DEX and no centralized exchange that you can purchase this, which just leads to no speculation. So you're not going to see these 1000x pumps from this token. The market doesn't actually dictate how much this token would be worth, and I would really love if that was the case. The entire setup that you get a piece of the rake essentially for life. So if you're buying this token, you're essentially buying it with a set ROI and expectations of how much rake is going to be generated through Phenom Poker and the site itself. That, to me, would be a perfect, just open market for the token. And I could see it absolutely fly. Because people at some point will then, and they do this a lot in Web3 gaming, where there's breeding or there's NFTs or there's NFTs that have a yield. People work out what the price of something should be based on the returns. And in crypto, it's normally has X's in it. There's not percentage points. It's just X's, and the ROI is generally in days. So I would be super keen to see what a free market would do to this token. Unfortunately, it's never going to be listed on a DEX for legal reasons, and that's all the information that I've been told. Again, no speculation. Everybody in Web3 loves speculation, but still a solid project. The wallet's still controlled by the team, essentially. So when you deposit, you don't have the keys to that wallet. You can go to Polyscan and check everything and all the transactions, and you can see the transactions in the site as well. But essentially, you don't own the keys to that USDT that's sitting in there. So again, as much as I like this project, not your keys, not your crypto, don't leave too much on there. The same way as you wouldn't leave too much money on Binance in case CZ, he's already in prison, so I don't know. Bad example, I guess. There's long ROI for holding tokens rather than selling at the time of the claim. I have brought this up with the team. This is one of the major things that I looked at, and the math didn't quite look great to me at the start. But again, we'll look at this in further videos. And the only way to get tokens is by participation. And I've put that at the bottom of both. So this is a pro and a con, because I would love to be able to buy as many of these tokens as I could. Unfortunately, the only way to get them is by participation, and essentially they both sort of work in the complete opposite direction of each other. Because the only reason I want to buy some is because the tokenomics are good, but if I could buy them, the tokenomics wouldn't be good. All right, let's move on. When we're looking at revenue share, this is a very simple way to look at it. Nice graphics that I did pinch from the Phenom site. So when a hand is raked, half of that rake goes to the team as revenue, and half of it gets split up between every single token of Phenom, which is 50 million of them. So if you hold all the tokens, you'll get 50% of the rake from the site. But the holdings go across everywhere as well. So at the start, and we'll go into this later again, I know I keep saying that a lot in this video, but the tokenomics are pretty deep. That when we look at the split, there is a working treasury. So that's where the amounts come from when people want to cash these tokens out. It comes from the treasury, and those tokens get recycled back into the treasury. But every time that a hand is played and rake gets taken, each of those tokens in the treasury will be earning USDT, which essentially will prevent the run on the bank, especially at the moment at the start when the tokens are quite low because of the 12-week cap. So other 50% rate goes to the revenue for the site, and this is how every single poker site works. And this is how they absolutely print money. As we see in the other slides, there's no centralized exchange, there's no DEX, and there's no real market value for these tokens. It's set across by this formula that we can see on the screen at the moment. So the formula they use to calculate the token price, and this is the price that you can cash your token out for at any time, is going to be 130 times the net rate collected over a 4-week period, divided by the outstanding tokens. Now, the outstanding tokens is probably going to sit at 50 mil for quite a while, unless there's any burns, unless people lose wallets, things like that. So, for an example, there in the prior 4 weeks, that Phenom Poker generates 800k in net rake, which may sound like a lot, but in online poker, it is not a big number. This would result in a price of $2.08 per token, which is worked out by the formula 130 by the 800k divided by 50 mil. And you can see at the moment they put price caps for the first 16 weeks, which is, I'm pretty sure Alec coined the term grind to earn. But that's pretty much what it is now. So they've essentially capped that price at 50 cents. So you can earn tokens for every 50 cents worth of rake back that you do, where even with the lower numbers of players in the site, I'm going to guess that their net rake is still pretty decent, even in the first month of launch. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. It was great getting back into the creator chair, doing a lot of research, making up some slides, recording myself 20 times saying the same thing because I don't write anything down. I just sort of just go off the top of my head. But it was really good. And I think I'm going to probably do some more content around Web3 poker. Definitely going to get some streams going up when they do the tournaments on Phenom and the sit and goes as well. Looking into a few other projects, Bag.win, Decentraland, Decentral Games, Coin Poker, Seals of Clubs, I believe, had something there with crypto, and also stumbled across a few other ones which aren't really hardcore poker, more gamified versions. But I think after listening to the gamified show the other day from Wolves about Web3 poker, it's sort of got the juices flowing to make some content again, stop being so lazy, and hopefully that will help me make some better decisions as well, and hopefully I can bring some projects to anyone who is watching these videos that will do well in the future. So next video, we will dive deeper into the math behind the token price and the formula with some examples of price points. And then DAU, net rake, we'll definitely look at that against other poker sites and sort of see what we're really looking at. Because even in this one, it was 800k, and that probably was like, wow, it's a lot of money for a project to bring in as revenue in across 4 weeks. But honestly, for poker, it's nothing. Insight into the overview of the token journey through all the wallets as well, and how that works. That'll be fun. And price caps, we're going to really go through and explain them. I should probably get that video out sooner than later because there is only about 16 weeks where that price is capped for the token. So the quicker I get that out, the more effective I think that will be for anyone wanting to jump in and play. And if you are wanting to jump in and play, I've left a link in the bottom. Also pop that at the start of the video too. But if you want to play Phenom and get 100 of these tokens once you clear $100 worth of rake as bonus tokens, you can use my code. I did get a nice affiliate one from the team when I had some meetings and got me in there as an agent. So shameless self-promoting. But if you want to come in and play some Phenom, grind some tokens up, would really appreciate it if you used my link there. It will get us both an extra 100 tokens. All right, we'll get deeper in the next videos, but for now, thanks again for watching, guys. Great to be back. Might even get some Web3 games going too. All right, catch us next time. Hey everyone, if you are looking to play Phenom Poker, please use the code BillWolves or use the link below. Have got an agent deal with the team, so anybody who does sign up through that link or my code will both earn 100 tokens once you pass a certain rake point. I believe that's $100 in the first 60 days. And we'll be running some extra free rolls for anybody who does use my link with some cool Web3 giveaways. They've got a really nice tracking system already built into the site to tell us who's generated what rake. So I'll be running some private competitions, and especially when we get those private tables going. So again, if you want to play Phenom and want to take advantage of that extra 100 free tokens, that's on top of the tokens you earn from your rake back. Please use code BillWolves or the link below, and I'll see you all at the tables.